Hello everyone, this is Recycle the Drug Gamer here, and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. Last time we went to the park. This time, I don't know what we're doing. I've been neglecting my sign language studies, so I should probably spend some time studying up on it. Although, I think I've learned a lot just by osmosis. I'm very proud of that. It will have to be careful not to brag about it. Most of the books I brought with me aren't manuals on learning sign language, but studies about different sounding dialects. I know Shizune has some secret signals with Misha that only the two of them know the meaning of. After seeing a couple of them, this book caught my eye in the library. Maybe I should incorporate some examples into my own signing to mess with them. I'm pretty sure that they'd have started using their code words more than I started learning sign language. That will teach them. After a quick break for a shower, I assume practice of my signing in the guest room mirror. Yesterday I crashed my fingers against each other pretty hard. So smart, and I don't want to repeat of that happening again. I hear knocking on the door behind me and turn to find Hideki standing inside the doorway staring at me. How polite of him to knock, but usually you don't open the door first. What are you doing? I'm practicing my sign language. How long have you been standing there? I did not see anything. That isn't the point. I don't even know what he means by that. It's not something I was doing. It's not like I was doing something that I would be ashamed to have people see me doing. Although sign language must look strange to most people. I only use it from being around Shizune and Misha so much. I'm brushing up on my sign language. I'm reading about it too. Stuff like the history of it. No, even though they cover it in sign language class. Your school teaches sign language as a class? Yeah, one of the first things they brought up was that it's not very common to do that. I guess we're very international or something. It looks fun. Well, I wouldn't call it fun. If you don't enjoy this, it seems like a lot of work to go through just to talk to my sister. Why does everyone keep saying that? Hideki's mouth twitches like he was about to laugh, but he restrains himself. Come to think of it, he hasn't laughed once since I met him. I could take it as a compliment that he doesn't laugh at me, but I'm curious to see it. Laugh. Why? With the fastest and most direct way I can think of towards accomplishing my goal. Can you teach me sign language? He says it plainly, but his body language is nervous, showing that he clearly needs to put some effort in to ask. I guess Hideki likes his sister after all. I think Misha is a lot more approachable though, so I wonder why he didn't ask her. Nicolau shouted, "Yes! Yes!" inside. I had thought he wanted to learn sign language and even brought it up, but he had evaded the subject skillfully. Turns out I was right after all. I don't really know why this makes me so pleased. Sure. Now that I think about it, I'm not a sign language teacher. I don't even know where to start. In class, I'd be learning stuff gradually over a week. Does Hideki expect me to teach him anything usable in a one-day crash course? He just spent a couple of days just giving history of sign language. I decided to start off with that. If I spend time, I'll figure out how I can segue it into the harder stuff. 5 minutes in, Hideki raised his hand. I don't understand what you are doing. Well, you can't just jump into teaching, you know? You have to ease into it. Like when you go swimming. You don't just jump in the lake like in some movie. I do not swim. It's like scientists managed to create a process to suck out all the hyperactive, infuriating, and childish quantities of a small child, then implement them into the dad, creating a raging junk dad, leaving behind Hideki. I'm beginning to feel claustrophobic, despite the fact that the guest room is 3 times bigger than my dorm room, and there's just the 2 of us in it. It's all in my head, I know it. I don't care. I still use it as an excuse to move the lesson outside. It's not easier to concentrate out here. Even the precious few seconds it took to relocate managed to allow me to sort my thoughts. There was no questions during this time. Hideki can't seem to talk and walk at the same time. Eventually, however, I start to realize that if I'm going to teach him anything, I have to keep the lesson constantly moving. The second there's an opening for it, he'll ask a question, which will lead to more questions, then there's no end to it. The second time he asked me why certain hand motion means what it does, and I have to reach deep into my memory to look for the etymology. I don't know about a gesture I only knew about a month longer than him. I start looking for an out. Hideki, let's take a break. Okay. What is your school like? The kid is like a little reporter, but it makes sense for someone his age to be curious. This is one question I don't mind. What's it like? I never really thought about it. It's on top of this mountain, so it feels kind of isolated and lonely up there sometimes. Even though that's also why it has a pretty great view. This is so interesting. Actually, I felt bad at first. You know what kind of school it is, right? Yes. I felt bad because I didn't want to go there. I don't even remember exactly what I was thinking at the time. Probably it was something like a school for crippled people would be a depressing place. They were telling me to go be forgotten there. Then everyone there was just living their lives for the most part. So I felt even worse. It wasn't different at all, and so I felt kind of like a jerk. Shizune was the first person I met. She's in most of my classes. Misha too. They're always together. I guess the school is accommodating enough to pair them up as much as possible. There's this girl in my class, Hanako, whom I feel bad for. She has these bones and seems to have a complex about them. But I think she looks fine. She's a cute girl, and was friends with Lily too. You know Lily, right? Does she bring up Hanako? Yes, sometimes. Trying to remember who else is interesting. We have a little track star Ace who runs on these prosthetics. There's this one girl, Vin, who doesn't have arms, but she's a great painter. Oh, fuck. That's autistic, a little weird sometimes, but wait up. There's this one girl, Vin, who doesn't have arms, but she's a great painter. All her art has this harsh, alive quality. Have you ever been to Yamaku? You've probably seen some of it hanging around. A little weird sometimes, but I've always heard this artistic and creative types are like that. That reminds me, the guy who lives across the hall from me is pretty weird too, but he can be interesting at least. You are also interesting. Is that bad? What's with that tone? What does that even mean? Are you saying I'm weird, Hideki? Is that even bad, Sao? You talk a lot. My first instinct is to go on the defensive, but the more I think about it, he has a point. That's right, I do talk a lot. I don't think I used to. I think probably because of all the time I spend around Shizune and Misha. Talking with them, I get caught up in all their circular logic, just how they do everything. I feel like I'm going to be drowned out or left behind. My sister can drown you out? It's not like she literally talking over me and stuff, obviously. It's hard to explain. They have more energy than I do. It's like an aggressiveness. I don't feel like I have to match it, but I want to. I think maybe your sister has that effect on people. You look up to your sister? He stares at me blankly, tense and confused as to how to react to the question. I will be better than Shizune. Better at what? At everything. Like what? I can do magic tricks. You mean like telling people you got their nose, or more like the kind of magic where you pull a rabbit out of your ass? You don't look happy. Someday I will see Hideki laugh. I might just try tickling him if I have to. Oh, scheisse! The back door flies open and Jagoro strides out of it, keeping his back straight and taking giant, slow, regal strides, like either a king or a huge jackass. I try to turn away using the train logic that if I can't see him, he can't see me. Unfortunately, it doesn't pan out, and he comes over so fast, I think he appeared out of the air over my shoulder. Oh, what's up here? What are you two doing? Flailing your hands around. Playing cat's cradle like a bunch of girls? I'm teaching Hideki some sign language. But what about you, Mr. Hakavichi? He knows his eyes suspiciously, as if he's not used to people being polite to them. I'm writing an autobiography of my life and times. And by writing, I mean I'm dictating it to be my biographer. Unfortunately, she's running late. I'm professional. Perhaps you should read it when it's published later this year. I can put you on the waiting list. Maybe I'll give you the moral compass you seem to lack in your life. Inspire you to stop sucking. It can't be sustainable for him to be so casually insulting to everyone. So Hideki is likely too detached to even notice. Shizune is deaf, and most of the insults must fly over Misha's heads. So surely Akira must have an opinion on this. I try not to think about it. If he's doing this to psych me out, then I have to stay calm or he wins. He must absolutely, definitely not win. That must be how Shizune feels. How old are you? 46. That doesn't seem old enough to justify writing a biography. I mean, that's not even old. Don't most people start writing their memoirs a lot later than that? Shut up, boy. I'm going to give you advice. Do not talk about matters of age with people older than you. You're less than half my age. You have no right to talk about old. I have an uncle older than you. You should get that checked out. Might have a point, though. He's definitely older than I am. Either way, even if we were the same age, I would have to explain myself to you, sweater vest. Ugh. Why do you make that noise? Are you mad? Well, obviously. Good. Your sweater's terrible, and I want you to feel bad about it. The bun tells me it's working. I like my sweater. I'm sure you like fluffy glue, too. That doesn't make it right. I don't have glue. Where did you get the impression I do? That is slander. That Hideki knows what slander is. Maybe Jigoro is a lawyer. I can sort of see that. Although, I thought all the TV lawyers were this antagonistic. I don't know if I should take the chance and ask if that's his job. He's right. It is slander. Are you a lawyer? I was guessing. I guess based on the fact that you are stupid. It's like how you are assuming I'm a lawyer. Expect you have no reason to think that. If you want to know what I do so badly, why don't you pre-order my autobiography? Now you're insulting my book, and by extension, my entire life! What gives you the right to do that? Arrogant! I'm trying to think of how I could make you understand my struggle. Maybe by beating you. With my autobiography! I hope you walk away from the beating having learned a valuable lesson. Like not making assumptions. Makes an ass out of you and me! Assault. He made an assumption too, that I huffed glue. I consider calling him out on this glaring example of hypocrisy, but I don't think it's worth it. He'll probably explain his way out of it by saying, "Shut up, boy." Back in my day, children were seen and not heard, and to be an adult meant having experienced many hardships. Even with a glance, people could instantly judge a man's character. Childhood existence only to temper you for adulthood. When you look at me, can you not see the catalog of my experiences, even at a glance? I see you have a sword, so I'm guessing you fought quite a bit. You have a weird shirt. Maybe were you a sword fighter? You could also be Hawaiian, and a werewolf. Wait, didn't you tell me before not to make assumptions? Now you just asked me to assume stuff, and you're saying everyone when you were my age did it. And that had to be like the 80s. That wasn't even that long ago! I don't even be in my mind for talking like he had to walk 50 miles in the snow to find a coal train, that he had to shovel coal into himself before climbing up a mountain or fighting ogres to get to school. But now that I finally want to fight, Jigoro is happy to have a good thing going, just continuing to ramble about how difficult it was growing up one generation ago, turning his sword like a baton and stopped occasionally to yawn or check the time. The tardiness of his autobiographer is still foremost in his mind. That means the whole time he's been insulting me, he must have been doing it just to pass the time. To add insult to insult, his brush is also nice. When I was your age, kids had responsibilities, not like today. Sickening! No one thinks about the consequences of their actions anymore. They just do whatever they want, thinking no one will hold them accountable since they are young. It's odd that this description could fit Shizune and Misha. I saw something similar only yesterday, but it only fits them slightly. Look at yourself! An immoral, directionless, delinquent glue huffer, with a complete lack of etiquette and absolute no fashion sense. You're tomorrow's Japan. I guess that works. Disgraceful! Is this the future of this once great country? I know someone you would get along with. Don't interrupt! Who? One of your friends? Why would I want to talk to some awful teenager? Have you even been listening? Why are you so rude, boy? Your attitude is not one that will make you a lot of friends. I wish he would stop giving me so much advice. Or at least, I wish he would give me advice that he would have the decency to adhere to himself. Where have you been? Huh? Not you, idiot! Oh, Shizune! Didn't notice you, Shizune smiles and gives a short wave. Her arrival made Jigoro stop talking, so I'm already happy to see her for that reason alone. Misha and I decided to go to town again. Hisao, I noticed you were looking at some clothes yesterday in the store window, and I thought I would go back and buy some of them for you. It was supposed to be a surprise, though. She looks annoyed that the surprise is ruined, even though she ruined it herself. Here you go. Thanks. Misha wanted to cut her hair. I told her not to, but she said it was too hot for the summer. Yeah, right? I don't know. That makes a lot of sense to me. Must be like an oven under there. I want to see it. Where's Misha anyway? Over here! Hi, He-chan! Hi, Mr. Shi-chan's father! Hi, Hideki! Oh, fuck! Misha runs around once in a wide circle before stopping next to Shizune. For the first time, she hasn't put her hands over my eyes. Although now I see she has bags of her own to carry. So it's not like she could have even if she wanted to. Although I am positive she tried before. Her meticulously styled curls are gone now, in favor of a much shorter, sportier look. Nisha looks even happier than usual, probably because she knows she won't have to wake up at the crack of dawn every morning just to do her hair. It's so iconic! What is with that haircut? You look like an intern! Your old haircut merely made you look like you were wearing a pink judge wig. Judge to intern is a huge demotion! So, is he saying something insulting? Don't also insult my friend. Don't insult my friends. Which one of you is talking? Both of us. I agree with her. What do you think, He-chan? You should have kept it like it was. Ah, He-chan, you look disappointed. You don't like it either? Well, yeah, I'll admit. I kind of liked your old haircut more. But I think this one's nice too. It suits you. I prefer the drills myself. Ah, thanks, He-chan. Touching. If you like it so much, maybe you two should trade. You can't trade a hair... Technically you can, it's just kind of awkward. What a shame. Even her old haircut would suit you so much more than your current slacker haircut. Awful. As for you... Actually, this is much less garish than your other haircut. I like it. Really? Thanks, Mr. Shizune's dad. It's Mr. Hakamichi. Talk like a normal person. I don't understand. Okay. I'll call you Mr. Hakamichi. It's like speaking to a slide whistle. Contemptible. Where's my biographer, Hideki? He starts quietly muttering to himself and walks off. He used to wannabe cranky old man like Jigoro would at very least be hesitant to yell at girls. Suddenly he doubles back, unable to resist his urge to have the last word. And another thing! You do not have to be so loud! I do not like being shouted at! What? Shouting? I'm not shouting! Can't think of anyone more unqualified to talk about what's garish or to chastise someone else on shouting at people. It's like a parade of hypocrites and the hits just keep coming. An unusual reaction seems to be taking place. Misha apparently finds Jigoro funny and laughs pretty much every time he says something, which only makes him berate her harder. I guess this is what they call a vicious cycle. Misha's voice is punctuated with explosions of laughter. It seems to come from everywhere. On the other hand, Jigoro is booming and direct, like a cannon. In any case, they are both unbelievably loud. The more they talk to each other, the more they seem to play off each other's volume and get louder. Ow, my ears hurt. Why are you shouting? His hands wrap around my eyes from behind. Something I'm used to Misha doing for the first time. I find myself confused by it. Since Misha is in front of me. She lets go and holds a finger to her lips. What a perfect distraction. Now's our opportunity. Let's sneak off. Why do we have to sneak off? Why just walk off? It wouldn't be as fun. It's decided. It's a secret mission. Escape without being detected. Extract Hideki for bonus points. I'm stealing her brother! Alright, she has simplified the situation into the game. Shizune quietly slides away from the scene and begins edging towards the house. I walk towards it normally. Bonus points! Yes! We got the optional mission, guys! Can't find Shizune at first, but eventually she walks into the main part of the house, sipping a glass of ice water and dangling her glasses back and forth from her free hand. She waits till I'm honest as soon as she sees me. You didn't rescue Hideki. That means you don't get the bonus points. If you're also being graded on style, I'd have to deduct points for a boring escape. It looked like you wanted to talk to me. I didn't know I had to be stylish about it. You know, some say that the most stylish people are the ones that don't try too hard to look cool. You're really cool. I wonder how it is I can pick up on the sarcasm so easily. And how hard it might have been for her to learn the concept of sarcasm without being able to hear. I can't imagine it. You seem like you're in a good mood. Although I guess it isn't really a good mood. It's more like she seems very excited. I'm in a bad mood. putting her drinks down, Shizune sits down on the couch. I like her regular hairstyle so much more. It looks so pretty. It was refined and meticulous. Now she looks too sporty and tomboyish. I need to go and screenshot this real quick for reasons that I will get to later. And not for you guys. What do I call Misha refined and meticulous? That sounds more like you. You should give it a chance. Grow your hair out and make it look like Joe's. Actually, maybe this suits you just fine. Shizune rubs the frame of her glasses roughly, looking annoyed at the implications behind what I signed to her. That's fine, because I was totally implying that. She moves a little closer to me when I take a seat. I'm a tomboy? Well, no one would call you a tomboy, based on appearance. It's really clear at me unamused. I have to fight back. Maybe you two should trade haircuts anyway. You sound like my father. It's true. Shizune giggles noiselessly when she sees my displeasure at the realization. Moving to her feet, she twirls an invisible sword in her left hand, while standing up military straight and grimacing. A terrifyingly accurate impression. Anyway, I don't take advice from anyone who wears a blue sweater with brown pants. What's the sense of color coordination? Dreadful. But changing my haircut, that might be fun. Wouldn't it be? I want to see how everyone would react. You must really like playing with people. Sometimes, I think it's a little too much. No answer. The way she fiddles with the glasses, brow furrowed, tells me that it's because she can't. It's fun. Then with more confidence and while pulling herself closer to me, it's fun to attract more and more people into my life. Oh, I see. I wonder if I'm included in that number. I want to ask, but I'm not even sure. She's a girlfriend, dude! Yes, we're part of that number! We've been part of it since, like, before chapter 1! Actually, yeah, before chapter 1 ended! Shizune wags a finger, preemptively indicating that she won't be answering such a question anyway. She reaches for a glass, and doesn't seem to realize how far she managed to inch away from it all the time. To prevent herself from tipping over clumsily, Shizune tries to grab onto me and ends up pulling me on top of her. Oh no! 5 bucks Misha pops up. As I lean over her, I can feel the heat coming off of her body and realize how close we are. I can hear her soft breathing, the slight rustling of her clothes as she momentarily fidgets about. Blood starts to creep into her cheeks, but her eyes stare straight into mine, dark and unblinking. It's the same look from the first time I saw her, piercing devoid of any clear emotion, just waiting to see what will happen next, like the eyes of a cat. It makes me feel uncomfortable being looked at in such a way. It's the first time I've been so close to her for an extended period of time. The mood is different now. The situation now isn't the same as a passing touch of hands or her and Misha's usual games. Tsune's fingers weave together tentatively, but she makes no move to sign. Look in her eyes isn't just nothing like I thought. It's more like an expectation. I wonder if maybe I've been following the string of her expectations this entire time. I feel her grabbing me by my shoulders and then gently but firmly pushing me off of her. I roll sideways onto the soft couch and put myself into a sitting position less than a foot away from her. The way I feel, she might as well have thrown me 10 yards. When I think about it, perhaps this is one of the biggest drawbacks to sign language. Shizune said that the fact that you have to sign your words out with your hands means you have time to reflect on what you say before you say it. But on the other hand, it also means that what would normally just be an awkward silence becomes an insurmountable wall. I just blurt out something, anything to try and dispel the tension I'm feeling right now, if I could, but I can't. Ordinarily, I think that would be normal would be apologizing and maybe leave, but right now, I wonder if that's even applicable. I can't get past how guilty such an action would seem. Like I was just slinking away. Of course, it's not like I can't just play it off like nothing happened either. That would just be insulting to both of us. So as much as I don't want to, I apologize so quickly I forget to sign it. Then I go back to my room. I let myself fall backwards into bed. I wish I could just sleep right now, but I feel wide awake. Oh? I sit up when I hear the door closing and open my eyes to see Shizune sitting in the chair in front of me. That's a question that goes right over my head due to my surprise. It's not a feeling I'm good at concealing, and I don't think it's what she intended. Whatever she says, she backs off and doesn't attempt to sign again for a while. This is the first time I've been to your room. Shizune tenses her fingers and puts on an exaggerated attempt to make herself look embarrassed and modest at the thought. Can't appreciate the joke. Just the fact that she's here has me feeling a bit scattered. Very funny. It isn't even my room. It's your guest room. Besides, you and Misha barged into my room once before. It seems as if she expected me to say more. I remember feeling very panicked when they busted into my room, afraid of what conclusions they would jump to seeing the wall of pills lining the place. I don't think that Shizune remembers though. Made you nervous. The way she says it so factually stings me. A lot of things make me nervous. You're one of them. You're so overeager to always get people involved, whatever you're doing. Whether it's joining the student council or even taking a break, whether they want to or not. She signs almost at a crawl, her hands pausing mid-sentence far too much, causing the words to dissipate formlessly before I can even begin to try to understand them. Trying to let it on that this is the case. Seems to work, but she looks a little sad. I regret that I have nothing to say to snap her from the strangely wistful, distant expression she is wearing. All I can do is wait for her to come out of it. Yeah, right. I want to drag everyone into my life, but lately, I'm no longer sure if that's the right thing to do. I enjoyed you taking me to your favorite restaurant the other night. Not like that was my favorite restaurant. I have others I like. I'd even be able to rank them by number. Really? This chair is so hard. I want to sit on the bed. Motioning her to go ahead, wait for her to get off the chair and take her place when she does. Though I didn't intend for it to be, she finds it amusing. Close your eyes. Why? It's a surprise. I tried to humor her and close them. You can feel her leaning over me. Suddenly something soft and moist touches my lips. My body tenses up in surprise. Fortunately, not as awkward a reaction as I could have made. It was just a quick peck, and I almost feel like that's the end of it. Then she kisses me again, more deeply this time. Her hands slide onto my shoulders, up to my neck, and then back down again, then across my shoulders and down the arms. I can feel the weight of her body on my legs, and the eroticism of the situation isn't lost on me. At this point, I'm ready to try and open my eyes just a crack, but as if expecting it, she puts her fingers on my eyelids. I am suddenly not liking this. Seconds later, something ties my hands together at the wrists, and I panic, not knowing what to make of this. My first thought is to ask Shizune what she's thinking. Even though she can't hear me, I'm sure she gets the gist of it. I let go of my hands, tracing her fingers over them, from the lines of my palms over my knuckles into my wrists. Hey, what are you doing? What's this? She tied me to the chair! Of course, with my hands tied behind my back, I might as well be gagged. Part of me can't help but think this is what she intended. She has a cat face! Oh, what a danger now, guys! As if reading my thoughts, a mischievous expression lights up on her face, but her blushing doesn't fade. In fact, it only deepens when our eyes meet. Embarrassed, she leans deeper into our partial embrace, hiding her face by blowing it in my shoulders and neck. Her hair is so soft and tickles me. I let out a laugh, knowing that she won't hear me. I won't be offended. Shrimp. And then Misha walks in! I hope to God not. Afterwards, I listen to the sound of my heartbeat slowing down until it reaches its normal rhythm. This is the sound of Shizune's breathing as it does the same. Glasses are slightly askew, and this is the first time she isn't messing around with them in some way. I want to straighten them for her, but the second I try, I'm reminded that I can't. Shizune seems to have forgotten it as well. Instead of getting up, she pressed herself against me in the chair to extend her reach. It's almost as if this is the only position she can think to untie my hands from. That is what I think as I feel her unbinding my wrists. However, she doesn't get off me. Her fingers gently stroke against mine, occasionally bending inwards to run over my palms. It's funny, but I feel more connected to Shizune though the simple act than before. Shizune stays pressed against me like this for some time. It's a little uncomfortable, but it makes me feel happy. See if I could stay like this for hours. This is all for this time. This is Resonic the Joke Game More. I hope you enjoyed the series so far, and I hope to see all you guys again next time. See you guys then.